You're listening to the Coconut Avenue Radio and Podcast Network.
Welcome to Out There on the Edge of Everything, the show that examines, helps you understand, and effectively deal with the interesting edges of life. Broadcasting now from the virtual C344 studios overlooking the edge of Coconut Avenue is your host, award-winning and best-selling author, Dr. Stephen Lesovich.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Lesovich out there on the edge of everything. This episode is entitled, Find Your Own Voice. Let me tell you another true story. I was in Los Angeles again recently visiting a friend of mine who is a Hollywood actress. I was with a group of her friends who are actors and actresses who you would recognize from their various television shows. One of the actresses heard I did a self-help podcast and asked where she could find it. She went over to her television and logged on to her Spotify account, found my podcast, and played several episodes for the people in the room. I was asked many questions about my podcast. It was interesting to me that my podcast, which is my own unique voice, was being streamed into the living room of this Hollywood actress to an audience in Los Angeles, California, which is 2,000 plus miles away from my own home. That made me think about something. My podcast and my blog posts are a way for me to express my own unique voice. My own voice was being heard right there in the living room of this Hollywood crowd. Believe it or not, my podcast is also being heard globally on a regular basis across all my podcast providers. I have a global audience for my podcast, and I have listeners in the United States, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Canada, Germany, India, Ireland, Italy, Mexico, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Romania, Slovakia, and Spain. Nelson Mandela said this, quote, "Live life as though nobody is watching and express yourself as though everyone is listening." Close quote. I express my voice through my podcast. What is your own voice? Your own voice is your ability to speak freely, authentically, fully express yourself, and let yourself be heard by others as they listen to you. It is also your ability to have the courage and confidence to speak up for what you believe in and feel worthy enough to voice your own opinion and make your comments known in any situation. How do you find your own voice? Consider these three things. Number one, find your own intersection. Your own voice typically occurs at an intersection of two or more of your strengths or passions that make you uniquely you. For example, my voice for my podcast occurs at the intersection of 1, telling a story about one of my life experiences, and 2, then providing some self-help tools or techniques for the listeners to make a positive change in their own life. What are your intersections in your personal life, in your professional life? Number 2, be fully present in your own intersection. To fully express your own voice, you must be fully present in the present moment in your own intersection. Your present moment is the exact attention point for you to express your own voice. Focusing your attention in the present moment puts you in an empowered state. When you express your own voice in the present moment, you allow the universe to work its magic for you to allow your voice to be heard by everyone. For example, every time I step in front of my microphone, I am fully present at my intersection and my attention point, and I am ready to share my message globally with my podcast. Number 3, fully express yourself with your own voice. In the present moment, at your intersection, fully express yourself with your own voice. Your own voice is a full, natural, authentic expression of who you are and what you stand for. One powerful way to fully express yourself is to tell people how you feel. Sharing your feelings with others creates a cognitive empathy connection between you and the person or people you are using your own voice to express yourself to. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand another person's perspective. For example, since I tell true stories about my personal life in my podcast, I create cognitive empathy with my listeners as they can relate to my stories, to similar experiences they've had in their own life. This creates a connection for me to express my own voice. Finding your own voice allows you to create a positive impact in your own life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Stephen Lesevich, out there on the edge of everything.
You have been listening to Out There on the Edge of Everything, the show that examines, helps you understand, and effectively deal with the interesting edges of life. For more information on your host, Dr. Stephen Lesevich, please visit slesevich.com. For more information on prior and future shows, please visit coconutavenueradio.net.
This is the Coconut Avenue Radio and Podcast Network.